Welcome everyone to the CCL Halftime Show. I'm Kyle Fergusson and I'm joined by BBJ, healer player for STORM Esports. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
If people aren't familiar with you, what would you say is your accolades up to this point?
Well, I was in HGC for its final year in 2018. I played on HeroesHearth Esports, who now, the org that runs CCL now. So a nice little, happy to see my boys still succeeding.
Yeah, a little through
Everybody
line
on
there.
staff there. We were like the number 2 for a while, and then the number 1 team in NA, and then at the end, I think we finished 5th through 8th in BlizzCon, but I counted as 5th because we'd beaten 2 of the other teams in our group, and then the other team was Tempo Storm, who we finished on top of in NA, so it's a 5th for me.
Nice. And then, of course, got yourself involved in the very early seasons here of the Community Clash League with Season 1 and on into Season 2.
Yep, and now we're Season 3.
Yeah.
Still going.
So tell me a little bit about the team, because you all have basically been together with one player change since the previous season.
Kepi had to go back to studying for school, so we lost him, and then we picked up Lucio in the draft. And then first 2 weeks we didn't really get to play with the whole team because Dequaza went on vacation. So I think last week was our first time scrimming together as 5. We had like 2 scrim blocks before our match. So it's been a little hectic, but I think we're finding our footing now.
Sure, seems like it really gelled this past weekend for y'all.
Yeah, we had 2 pretty rough games. Our losses were pretty ugly, and our wins weren't that pretty either, but I think it'll improve throughout the season.
Now, I'm not sure where, but we spent a lot of time in your all's comms in the previous matchup and got to hang out with you guys a bit. Y'all have a very relaxed atmosphere. Even in the most epic of moments, it's a very jovial, jokey sort of time for you all.
Yeah, we try to keep the atmosphere light because, if you're losing and you're angry, it's no fun. You gotta... our BOE game was an absolute disaster, but we were able to laugh our way through most of it, at least.
The Brightwing on game 4, yeah.
Yeah, everybody was asking me to teleport in, and then they're just leaving me to die. I had 7 deaths, but realistically, I had 3 or 4.
They were all other people. They put you
half
there.
Of those deaths on other people.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, I particularly enjoyed your Lucio game 3, where you got a fervor in your eyes to go slay Leoric and just took off running after him.
Yeah, once you get that level 16 attack range on Lucio, you just want to keep hitting people. You don't want to ever stop. You get more cooldown on your E, more reverse amps, more damage, more healing. If there's somebody on your screen, you got to hit them. It's no choice.
The hero seems to be really clicking for you. I know that you've played Lucio quite a bit in the past, but there's definitely a I don't want to say an anger, but an aggression that you seem to tap into when you're on Lucio this season.
I think right now he just feels really strong in the meta for whatever reason. Other healers I think got nerfed, and he got nerfed a bit, but maybe not as hard. And it feels like once you get 16 on that hero, you put out as much healing, if not more, than others, and you have the utility with the speed and the boop, and just really low cooldown cleanse. So he feels pretty insane right now.
Did you put a lot of work into that in the off season? There was also the game 5 high 5 that was almost telling the future for Lunara, as you went and caught them right before the Anubarak stun.
I put a bit of time on Lucio because he was one of my worst supports probably before, but not that much. I think it's just, kind of trying to do less sometimes on that hero. If you're, unless you're Yasuo and you're, dodging everything, then maybe it's better to just be a little safer, hang back. And then once you get 16, you can just start doing a little bit more aggressive stuff with the auto attack range and the constant healing.
We did catch that moment as well where your team accused you of not being as good as Yasuo because you were hit by a grenade at one point.
Well, no. They tried to say that I was as good as Yasuo, and I had to clarify that Yasuo would have dodged the Tychus grenade.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
As the sort of continued healer main and one of our longest running healer mains around, how do you feel the season is for you guys? I know that you used to be big on Deckard, and that's not really happening right now.
Yeah, healer's kind of in a weird spot where it feels like maybe Stukov, Lucio, and Brightwing are at the top, and then everything else kind of feels in like a weird spot where it's maybe situationally okay, but never even that great. I think I had like an Ariel game that I played pretty awfully on, but Like, she's in a weird spot. Anna, some games maybe Deckard a bit and Mouth, but I don't know. It feels like hopefully in the next patch that's coming, I think soon, next week, maybe this week or something. Hopefully some of the healers get brought up to the level of the other ones. Maybe Stukov can get nerfed a bit, maybe a little nerf to Lucio or something on his high 5 cooldown maybe. And then I'd like to see a lot of other healers buffed, because I think a lot of them feel like just shy of being really good.
About that Tomb the Spider Queen game, everyone was theorizing that you went blinds wild for Cassia, which is why we got an Ariel there. Why did the Ariel happen?
I mean, Ariel with Zarya and like a hyper carry has kind of always been a bit of a thing, just because you get a lot of healing output, the fights go long, you have like somebody else to kind of shield when your heal's on cooldown, so you can get one big AoE heal off, and then in the downtime, you know, your Zarya can save somebody if need be. But I don't know, we've been playing like a decent amount of Ariel, and it felt pretty good in the other games, but I think generally we'd had like a Vol or something, which made it, or Lunara maybe, so it felt a lot better then. With the Cassia, it didn't feel that great, to be honest. I was kind of starved of energy a decent amount of the game, but it ended up working out. And then at level 20, everyone wants to group buff for the Johanna Falling Sword 20 anyway, so you just stack for the Ariel heals as well, and it's pretty much unkillable death ball.
Is Lauber a little crazy about that? Because that was a first pick Johanna as well. And I don't know many tanks out there that willingly jump on a Johanna.
I mean, first pick Joe on Tomb has kind of been a thing forever almost, just because of the wave clear, but it fell off a bit when her wave clear, I think, got nerfed in her rework.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's just a good map for her, and then she's just reliable, right? If you don't want to show anything in a draft, you can pick a Johanna. You can threaten like the Falling Sword, Death Ball, or you can have a Blessed Shield one-shot comp, so they can't really, counter pick you that hard.
Tough to predict. Yeah, Johanna comp isn't exactly going to give anything away early on there. Well, this week you're going to be fighting Diamond Hands, who has shown us a lot of marathon games. Any thoughts heading into this matchup?
We'll be sure to give them the first 2 games, right? I think they got reverse swept last week, so maybe they're taking up the mantle of like what Wildheart did, I think, the season before, where every one of their sets was just 5-game bangers. So maybe we'll have another one of those. Hopefully not. I think we should be able to take it 3-1 or 3-0 probably pretty easily. I think we're kind of finding our groove, and we have more scrim blocks this week. And Lauber's also in Canada right now, playing on like 20 ping. So I think he's finally getting used to that setup as well. I know he's had like a weird mouse pad, not his usual setup. So yeah, I think we'll be adjusted and ready to go this weekend.
The weird mouse pad will get you. We'll get you every time. Any thoughts about any of the other teams that are going around this season? It's been definitely a shakeup that it seems across our various teams.
Yeah, I think the season had a pretty big turnaround, I guess, during the off season. And I think we're seeing a lot of the teams either getting a little bit better or a little bit worse through roster changes. And I mean, we've seen Grand and Chili Mountain kind of drop pretty far to the bottom, I'd say, but I think they're starting to make some roster changes and transactions that maybe in the midway of the season they can start picking it up. But yeah, I think there's kind of like a top 3 between us, 30K, and Simplicity, and then like a few teams in the middle, like the Oxygens and the Diamond Hands, and then a bit of a bottom 2 between Chili Mountain and Granite.
And you all go on to fight, let's see, you actually are going to fight all those teams pretty late in the season too, so things will be pretty established by then.
Yeah, I don't know if we have Simplicity last week or maybe it's second to last week.
Yeah, week 6.
I'm not sure
there.
which. Yeah, so we play them pretty late, so that'll maybe have some implications on like the number 1 or 2 seed. Although we started 0-2 because we had no Quaza week 1, and then me and him both couldn't play week 2, so we had to forfeit. So we're not really too worried about the first seed this season. We're more just looking at, make top 3, don't have to go through the gauntlet, and then, be ready for playoffs.
Sounds like a good plan, and sounds like you guys are really gearing up. Plus, there's a bit of a break coming up for you all, and so really excited to see what that brings us to the viewers, but also a patch that might have some nice treats in it for you for the healer shakeup.
Hopefully no patch right before the playoffs this time, though. Last time,
that's fair.
Zagara came out of nowhere, was really broken, messed us up pretty good.
It was a wild ride, I'm sure.
That was a wild patch.
Side. Yeah. Wasn't that also the low blow Stukov? It hadn't quite broken out yet, the whole low blow thing, but
yeah, maybe not. But yeah, now it's in full swing.
Definitely.
Massive E, no cooldown, millions of damage, just killing everybody.
It's so much easier than reactive ballista spore. I enjoy it.
Still, nothing feels better than a good reactive Ballista Spore just earthquaking people at level 1 and then walking up with your big old arm and smacking them for a couple hundred.
There you go. There you go. Well, I look forward to it. Any shout outs you'd like to do here at the end?
Shout out to Storm, all the people behind the scenes helping us out. Shout out to my teammates, obviously. And then shout out to all the CCL people. Oh, and Twitch chat, of course. Can't forget them.
Of course.
They're the real heroes.
Always a pleasure talking to you, getting your insights on the season as it progresses. Everyone watching here, that matchup's coming up next. So stay tuned. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.